You spent 3 hours yesterday cleaning your living room. Every single thing has a place. The surfaces are clear. But when you walk into that room this morning, something feels wrong. It looks clean, but it doesn't feel peaceful. If you're nodding your head right now, you're not alone. What you're experiencing isn't regular clutter. It's what I call invisible clutter. And today, I'm going to reveal the 5 hidden traps that are making your home feel messy, even when it's spotless. I'm here to help you, and over the past decade, I've helped hundreds of people create homes that don't just look organized, they feel peaceful. The biggest obstacle isn't the stuff you can see. It's the invisible clutter hiding in plain sight. Before we dive in, if you've ever felt frustrated that your home doesn't feel as good as it looks, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. We're going deep today, and I promise you'll never look at your space the same way again. Now, let me show you the 5 traps sabotaging your peace of mind and exactly how to escape each one. Let's start with trap number 1, the visual noise trap. This is the most misunderstood form of clutter because everything technically has a place, but your brain is still working overtime. Picture a bookshelf. Every book is upright, organized by author. You've added decorative objects, a plant, picture frame, candle, decorative bowl. On paper, this sounds lovely, but when you look at it, your eye doesn't know where to land. This is visual noise. Your brain processes every visual element as a micro-decision. Red book or blue book, tall item or short item. When you have 12 different signals competing for attention, your nervous system can't relax. Think about a high-end hotel room. Everything feels calm, even with plenty of items. Here's the key. Everything works together. The color palette is cohesive. Textures complement each other. Proportions are balanced. Now, think about your living room. Count the colors visible from your favorite spot. Wood tones, fabric colors, metal finishes, book spines, decorative objects. I'll bet it's more than 15. A hotel room? Usually 5 to 7 maximum. The solution isn't getting rid of everything you love. It's creating visual harmony. Start with one surface. Remove everything. Add items back one at a time with intention. Group books by color, not just author. Choose decorative objects that share a common element. Same material, color family, or size. Create breathing room. Every grouping needs space around it. Use the rule of odd numbers. Group items in sets of 3 or 5. It's more visually pleasing than pairs. When you get visual harmony right, the change is immediate. You'll walk into that room and feel your shoulders drop. This isn't just aesthetic, it's physiological. Trap number 2 is the flat surface magnet. Every flat surface becomes a landing pad for items that don't have a proper home. Picture your kitchen counter in the morning. It looks relatively clean, but let's count. Car keys, phone charger, yesterday's mail, coffee mug, hand lotion, vitamins, pen, receipts, and that thing you set down 3 days ago. That's 9 items. 9 different things your brain processes every time you enter your kitchen. Each one represents an unfinished task. Mail needs sorting. Receipts need filing. Keys need their proper place. Your subconscious keeps a running tally of these incomplete tasks. It's like having 9 browser tabs open in your mind constantly. No wonder you feel mentally exhausted. We don't notice this gradual accumulation. It happens one item at a time. You set down keys, grab mail, charge your phone. Each action seems harmless, but collectively they create chaos. Professional organizers use the rule of 3. Any flat surface should have a maximum of 3 intentionally placed items. Your kitchen counter, coffee maker, fruit bowl, plant, your nightstand, lamp, clock, book. But where do I put my keys? The mail, phone charger? Every frequently used item needs a designated home. Install a hook for keys. Have a basket for mail. Choose one charging location. The psychological shift: surfaces become intentional displays, not temporary storage. When you see only your 3 chosen items, your brain registers completion instead of overwhelming. Implement the one-touch rule. Don't set mail on the counter. Put it directly in its designated spot. Don't place jewelry on the dresser. Put it in the jewelry box immediately. After 2 weeks, this becomes automatic. One client told me clearing her counter using these principles was like turning down the volume on her anxiety. Trap number 3. Hidden homeless items. These are things you know you own, but they don't have a consistent designated place to live. Picture this. You need scissors. You know you have multiple pairs somewhere. But where? Kitchen junk drawer? Not there. Office desk? Nope. One. At random basket in the living room. Still no luck. 15 minutes later, you find scissors in the bathroom drawer with no memory of why they're there. This is the hidden homeless items trap beta. Every time you need something but can't immediately locate it, your stress hormones spike slightly. Multiply this by every homeless item: phone chargers, tape, pens that work, nail clippers, measuring tape, batteries, and you're creating dozens of micro-stress moments weekly. When items don't have homes, your brain uses working memory to track their locations. Working memory is like computer RAM. You only have so much. When it's tied up remembering where you saw the stamps, you have less mental capacity for everything else. The solution is the address system. Just like every person has a home address, every frequently used item needs a specific address too. Make a list of things you search for regularly: phone chargers, scissors, tape, pens, nail files, batteries, flashlights, matches, measuring tools, basic tools. For each category, designate one specific location, not a general area, a specific spot. Scissors live in the second drawer, right side compartment. Phone chargers live in the nightstand basket. Batteries live in the hall closet, labeled container. Return items to their addresses immediately after use. If you need scissors in multiple places, buy multiple pairs and give each pair a specific address. Label everything initially. Labels aren't just for others. They're reminders for your tired, distracted future self. When you implement this properly, you stop spending mental energy on location tracking. When you need scissors, you think, scissors live in the kitchen drawer, and go directly there. That freed mental energy becomes available for more important things. Trap number 4 is probably the most complex because it involves our hearts, not just our heads. I call it the emotional anchor trap. DD. These are items that carry significant emotional weight: gifts, inherited pieces, souvenirs, children's artwork, photos, cards, anything connected to people we love or experiences we cherish. Here's the trap. When emotional items are scattered throughout your space without intention, each one becomes an anchor that pulls at your attention and emotions. You might not consciously notice them, but your subconscious is constantly processing the memories, relationships, and feelings they represent. Let me give you an example. You have your grandmother's jewelry box on your dresser, a photo of your college friends on your bookshelf, your child's first drawing on the refrigerator, a souvenir from your honeymoon on the mantle, and a card from your best friend tucked into your mirror frame. Each of these items is meaningful and worth keeping. But when they're dispersed throughout your space, they're creating what I call emotional scatter. Every room triggers different memories and feelings. Your attention is being pulled in multiple emotional directions simultaneously. This is particularly challenging because, unlike functional clutter, you can't just declutter emotional items. They serve an important purpose in connecting you to people and experiences that matter. But here's what I've learned. When everything is special, nothing feels special. When every surface has meaningful items competing for attention, none of them get the honor they deserve. The solution is creating what I call memory zones, Designated areas where you intentionally display and honor your most cherished items. Start by gathering all your sentimental items from throughout your home. Yes, all of them. You might be surprised how many you have once they're collected in one place. Now, here's the important part. You don't have to keep everything just because it has emotional value. Give yourself permission to choose your absolute favorites. The items that make your heart sing when you see them. For the items that are meaningful but don't make the top tier, consider taking photos of them before letting them go. You'll preserve the memory without keeping the physical item. Create 1 or 2 dedicated spaces for your chosen emotional treasures. Maybe it's a gallery wall with your favorite photos, or a special shelf for inherited pieces, or a shadow box for vacation mementos. When you concentrate your meaningful items in intentional displays, 2 things happen. First, you actually notice and appreciate them more because they're not competing with visual noise. Second, the rest of your space feels calmer because it's not scattered with emotional triggers. I had a client who had inherited items from 3 different relatives displayed randomly throughout her home. Every room reminded her of loss and grief, even though the memories were mostly happy ones. When we created a beautiful memorial corner in her living room, she could visit those memories intentionally instead of bumping into them constantly. Now, let's talk about photos specifically, because this is where many people get overwhelmed. In the digital age, we have thousands of photos stored on devices, but we still want some physical photos in our space. Choose a small number of photos that represent different seasons of your life or different relationships that matter to you. Rotate them periodically if you want variety. The key is intention. These photos are here because you chose them, not because you haven't gotten around to dealing with them. For children's artwork and school papers, create a system for honoring their creativity without saving everything forever. Choose 1 or 2 pieces per child per year to keep permanently. For everything else, take photos and create a digital album they can enjoy later. Remember, the goal isn't to eliminate emotional connection from your space. It's to honor your most meaningful relationships and memories in a way that brings joy, not overwhelm. The 5th and final trap is what I call the future self fantasy. And this one hits close to home for many of us. These are items we keep not for who we are today, but for who we hope to become someday. Maybe it's the bread maker you bought when you were going to become someone who bakes fresh bread weekly. The exercise equipment for when you were going to become someone who works out at home daily. The craft supplies for when you are going to become someone who makes handmade gifts. The books for when you are going to become someone who reads philosophy or learns French. These items aren't inherently bad, and the aspirations behind them are often beautiful. The problem is that they're taking up physical and mental space based on a version of yourself that may never exist. Every time you see these aspirational items, your brain has a micro-conversation. I should be using that bread maker. I should be doing those exercises. I should be working on those crafts. These silent should statements create a constant background hum of guilt and inadequacy. You're essentially living with physical reminders of your perceived shortcomings. Instead of inspiring you to become that future person, they often make you feel worse about who you are right now. Here's the compassionate truth. I know you're allowed to change your mind about who you want to be. You're allowed to let go of aspirational versions of yourself that no longer fit your actual life. The person who bought that bread maker might have had different priorities, more time, or different interests than you have today. Honor who you were when you made that purchase, but also honor who you are now. Start by identifying your future self-fantasy items. Walk through your home and notice what you're keeping for someday. Be honest about what you haven't touched in the past 6 months or year. Ask yourself, if I let this go, what would I lose? Often, the answer is a fantasy, not a reality. You're not losing the ability to bake bread. You're just acknowledging that buying bread works better for your actual lifestyle. For items that represent goals you still genuinely want to pursue, give yourself a deadline. If you don't use the exercise equipment in the next 3 months, acknowledge that home workouts might not be your path to fitness. This isn't about giving up on growth or change. It's about being realistic about your capacity and making room for the person you actually are, not just the person you think you should be. When you release future self-fantasy items, you often discover something wonderful. You have more space and energy for the activities and interests that genuinely align with who you are today. So, there you have it. The 5 hidden clutter traps that are making your home feel messy, even when it's clean. Visual noise, flat surface magnets, hidden homeless items, emotional anchors, and future self-fantasies. Most people are caught in 2 or 3 of these traps simultaneously. The good news is that now you can see them clearly, and awareness is the first step toward freedom. Start with just one trap that resonated most with you today. Don't try to tackle everything at once. Pick one room. Identify which trap is strongest there, and spend this week implementing the solutions I've shared. If this video opened your eyes to invisible clutter in your space, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. Tell me which trap hit closest to home for you. And if you're ready to create a home that doesn't just look organized, but actually feels peaceful, subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell. We're building a community of people who understand that decluttering isn't just about stuff. It's about creating space for the life you actually want to live. Thanks for spending these few minutes with me today. Here's to homes that feel as good as they look,